welcome everyone to the official groundbreaking ceremony for the Arizona Center for Law and Society. I want to thank everybody for coming here today. For those who don't know me, I'm Doug Sylvester. I am the Dean of the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law. And this is a truly big day for the law school, for the university, for the city, and frankly for the state. And so we're incredibly happy to have a great group of people coming up to talk to you about what this structure means, all the work that went into getting this done. And so my role really here today is to play as a master of ceremonies. So I'm not going to be making any long speeches. I promise to keep this introduction to 45 minutes or less. I'll get you all out of here by noon. And so we'll be able to do a lot of interesting things here at the building over the next few years. And so thank you again for coming. One of the first things I want to do is recognize those who are in the audience here today and have made the special trip to be here for this groundbreaking. In the audience, we have Regent Greg Patterson, Representative from the Arizona House of Representatives, Representative Leila Alston, Debbie McCune Davis, Bob Robson. From the state of Arizona Senate, we have Senator Leah Landrum Taylor. From the city of Phoenix, we have Mayor Greg Stanton, Vice Mayor Jim Waring, Councilman Michael Nowakowski, Councilman Kate Gallego, Councilman Bill Gates, City Manager Ed Zucher, Deputy City Manager Rick Neymark. And from our judiciary, and again, we could go on and on with the number of luminaries that are here, but we're going to end it soon. We have Arizona Supreme Court Justice Rebecca Birch, retired Arizona Supreme Court Justice Charles Bud Jones, retired Arizona Supreme Court Justice Ruth McGregor, and retired Judge Cecil Patterson had RSVP'd as well, though I haven't seen Cecil yet here today. Oh, there he is back there. Hey, Cecil. All right, so with that, this is one of the dangerous parts. I'm sure we've forgotten some people. I hope you'll forgive me, and if I get a chance to see you, I'll get back up here and recognize that you made it here today. So, as I said, we have a series of people that are going to come up and talk about the building behind this lovely plexiglass stadium. I don't think I've ever quite seen this. It hides nothing, so just know you better be careful. So the idea is to introduce these individuals in various capacities for making this project such a tremendous success. And so when I think about what they represent as a group and as individuals, two themes clearly emerge. That buildings like this, projects like this, visions like this, don't get done with motorcycles behind you, and they also don't get done without tremendous leaders. One of the things I've learned in this job over the last few years, and really just being here at Arizona State University, is how much leadership matters at the university level, at the city level, at the state, and obviously in broader areas as well. And so each person who's going to get up here today is an individual who has shown such tremendous leadership in their position, and this is just a small piece of it, but a project as large as this doesn't get done without that. So I'm not going to spend much time on their bios. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how I think each has contributed to this vision of leadership and the vision of moving the Arizona Center for Law and Society and the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law to downtown Phoenix, something we're really proud about for sure. So the first person is Michael Crow. I think you all know him. And if you want to talk about someone who really is responsible for this project, it's Michael Crow. You know, there's a lot that you do to make this work. And at the end of this, I'm going to thank a lot of different people, and we're going to see what a huge team it takes and the community you need to build a project like this. But it doesn't get done without a great university president. And if we know one thing at Arizona State University, we have a great university president, someone who's not always the easiest to work for, but just moves the place forward. Hey, he'll tell you. He's going to get up and scold me now, and you'll see how that hurts. It is a great thing to work for Michael. Michael, come on up, and please be kind.
Thanks, Doug. Doug really has been doing a fantastic job as the dean of one of America's great law schools. Not all the great law schools were created 150 or 200 years ago. Some were created just 40 years ago or so, and this is one of them, the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law. I see Justice O'Connor here in the audience, and let me thank her for her inspirational life of focus on fairness, focus on logic and judgment, focus on determination, going all the way back to her days coming out of law school at Stanford and so forth. It's an unbelievable inspiration for all of us to have this law school named for you, Justice O'Connor, and we appreciate very much your decision to allow us to do that, which I know was not automatic. You're a very thoughtful and considerate person, and so we appreciate that very much. This project here today is, yes, the home for the Sandra Day O'Connor Law School, but it's more than that. The project is the Arizona Center for Law and Society, and we conceived of this project in the heart of what I thought of as, there's another ASU bus moving ASU students, the heart of a rather, elements of it, rather uninformed series of debates about one of the most complicated issues that we face right now around immigration, where there was an insufficient focus, I felt, on, and others felt, on the law, the process of the law, and a wide range of things. And so what we thought one of the things that was missing was that we were not projecting our role as teachers, our role as thinkers, our role as engaged with the community to the extent that we could, and that we needed a new presence, a new place, a new gathering spot. It should be in downtown Phoenix, the heart of the community. Should be in downtown Phoenix, the heart of government, the heart of a lot of the judicial processes that go on in this very large and emerging community. And so we decided that the best place for the law school was to be inside a broader setting, the Arizona Center for Law and Society, in downtown Phoenix, and built in a way, as you'll see in the structure of the building, inside out, open to the outside, open to the community, engaging with the community, reaching out as an educational statement about the law, reaching out as an educational statement about how the law is changed or not changed and how it evolves and all of these things. And so this is a really exciting day that we're obviously more than breaking ground. There's a big ditch here, and all of the rats that used to live here in the old hotel, they're all gone. At least I'm told they're gone. I was here one day and saw several. And someone's just reminding me there were some really, really heavy feral cats also roaming around in this area. But it really is the case that when this project is done, what we are interested in is a center for intellectual pursuits, a center for training in the law, a center for training in the broader aspects of the law, but also a community center for engagement with the law, breaking down the barriers, helping people to understand. And so the intent of the design of this structure, the intent of the overall purpose and the placement of the structure and of our school is advancement of the law, advancement of the community, and success of the community. That's one of our buses also. Doug, are you responsible for these buses? And so I also want to thank Mayor Stanton and the members of the City Council that are here and others, because both the present members of the council and the past members of the council and the past leadership of the city, we are here in downtown Phoenix, both the ASU and the U of A, because downtown Phoenix and the Phoenix City Council and the Phoenix leadership decided that education was as important to the future of the city of Phoenix as anything else. So we have planted our flags here, and we are advancing, and the City Council is both our friend, that's another ASU bus, our friend and our ally. By the way, these buses are indicative of the fact that our students are constantly moving between the various campuses always, and so that's what these buses are representative of. But anyway, the City Council has shown unbelievable national trend-setting leadership in understanding how to embed an institution of higher education into the heart of a city, and then to facilitate the transition of that city to higher and higher levels of both social and cultural advance and economic competitiveness. Now, this project is a project different than some of our other projects. This is a project that is, the university is investing, the city is investing, and a number of groups and individuals are also investing in this project. We're not talking about what they're investing today. We might talk about that later, but several of those groups are present here today. Leo and Annette Buse here, if you could just raise your hands. Yes. Jerry Hirsch, I know he's here. Back there, yes. He doesn't want to raise his hand, but we made him. The Armstrong family, and I see they have a number of representatives here, if they could raise their hands. The W.P. Carey Foundation, related to the Armstrong family and others, they're also investing. And Michael and Rebecca Birch, just to mention a few. So these are. It is the case that we did a little survey from a fundraising firm, and we asked them to go around and talk to people to see what could be raised for this project from private philanthropy. And they came back, and you know what they told us? Nothing. I said, throw the report away, never hire them again. I don't know. Where's the person that hired them? Josh, was that you? Because we have, where are we in fundraising now? 34 million in fundraising. So that's a fair amount more than the zero that the fundraising consultant, I don't think we sent them their check. And so in any event, let me close my comments by I've been in Arizona now for more than 12 years in this role, and I find Arizona to be, as a kid, before I went to college, I moved around 21 times, and I don't count the places that I lived for less than 3 weeks. Those didn't really count, but there were a bunch of those also. I went to 17 schools, born in California, raised all over the country, and Arizona is this place that both my wife, Sybil, and I think of as our home. And Arizona is a place that we have come to not just love being here, but to admire. And for all of the arguments that we have and the public debates that we have and the wild, almost polar opposite views of the world that exist here, all out in the open, fully glowing in all of their beauty, the exciting thing about that is that things get done here. People make things happen here. People make decisions here, and you can innovate here, and you can advance here. And so you should look at this as a young law school now in the top set of law schools in the entire country, top 36 law schools in the entire country already, now moving to a new home with a fabulous design and a fabulous expanded purpose in a fabulous location. So you're seeing here with this groundbreaking the launching of America's great and tremendous, unbelievable model for a law school of the future right here, today. It's really hard for people to accept this and see this, that the older models have run their course, that the older ways of university engagement have run their course. And this is the new way, and we're forging the new way, and Arizona is the place that you can do that. So it's very exciting to be here for the groundbreaking of the Arizona Center for Law and Society. Thank you.
And so thank you for our donor community and for those who've supported us. Michael, thank you for recognizing them. Next to get up is another unbelievable leader behind not only this project, but the progress of this city, and that is, of course, Mayor Greg Stanton. Mayor Stanton has, in a very short period of time, moved the city forward during difficult economic times, constantly focusing on economic development while being truly engaged at a social and community level. Focusing on this building coming downtown. As much as Michael Crow and the university needed to be behind this project to make it happen, you couldn't have made it happen without Mayor Stanton and that recalcitrant council we're going to talk about in just a second, right, Michael? Now, we're going to get there in a second. And so these are real partnerships, but it takes true leadership to make it happen. So Mayor Stanton, who went to the wrong law school, nonetheless is going to come up and talk about what a great law school this is going to be downtown. Come on up, Mayor.
All right, good morning, everyone. Dean Sylvester, you mentioned how difficult it can be to work for Dr. Crow. Try being a mayor who has to work for Dr. Crow. That can be tough, too. We're all working for Dr. Crow. Dr. Crow, congratulations. Great speech, and thank you for your leadership of this university and for making this happen in the heart of our city. Let's give a big round of applause. We appreciate the leadership of ASU. I, too, want to say thank you for the great justices that are here. Justice Rebecca Birch from the Arizona Supreme Court, Justice Ruth McGregor, Justice Bud Jones, who my wife had the honor of clerking for after she graduated from the other law school, Judge Cecil Patterson, and, of course, the one and only, the person who I would argue is the most influential woman in American history, and I challenge anyone to prove me wrong, our justice, our great Arizonan, the greatest Arizona in our history, Justice Sandra Day OConnor. Thank you for being here. It's an honor for you to participate in today's activities. And we joked about a recalcitrant council, And we do have a few tough issues we're dealing with. But what this council 100% agrees on unanimously, and I want to thank those council members that are here, are my Vice Mayor Jim Waring, Councilman Bill Gates, Councilman Nowakowski, who represents this area, is going to speak in a moment, Councilman Gallego, all of my city council. We are rock solid behind our partnership with ASU because we agree and we understand and we know that there is not an inch of space between the success of Arizona State University as an enterprise, particularly as a research enterprise, and the academic power that is coming out of the university and the future success of the city of Phoenix. We cannot achieve any of our goals, particularly our economic goals and what we aspire to be as a city, without ASU as a great university, and we are proud to be a partner of Arizona State University. And of course, with this building, we are taking it to the next level. Dr. Crow, yes, we are proud of the very high ranking of the football team this year, but we are even more proud of the academic rankings that you and your leadership team are bringing this university to. The improvement is incredibly noticeable and is making us a better city. As Dr. Crow mentioned, one of the top ranked law schools in the country is now going to be in the heart of our city. One of the very top ranked journalism schools, even higher ranked than the football team right now, Dr. Crow, as you know, the Walter Cronkite School right here in the heart of our city. One of the top ranked schools of public affairs and public programs located right here in the heart of our city. So we are very proud of that football team. They're doing great, but we are even more proud of the continued academic success. And the nation and the world are taking notice of what is happening here in our region, and particularly in downtown Phoenix. This is an exciting day for Arizona State University, for ASU Downtown, for the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law, for the city of Phoenix, for our entire communities. Leaders are going to come out of this building. Some of the top lawyers, future Supreme Court justices and state Supreme Court justices, but not only that, people who are going to choose public service as their career and avocation. Those are going to be leaders in business and the nonprofit world. Maybe even a few political leaders will come out of this building. The future leaders of this city and this state are going to be coming out of this building and getting their academic careers started in this building. I am amazed every time I walk around the ASU downtown campus and the Center for Law and Society. What we hope will be ground zero for the discussion of critically important issues facing our community, our state, our country, and our world. And today is an incredible next step. This project has been more than 10 years in the making, and I want to take a moment to also thank some of those people. I mentioned Dr. Crow and his incredible leadership. It is very, very much appreciated. Dean Sylvester, Dean Chris Callahan, the other leaders of this downtown campus, we so much appreciate your incredible leadership for two of the most consequential academic programs in the state of Arizona and, of course, our entire country. The fundraising that's been done, not only from the city of Phoenix, but from our generous philanthropic donors. Leo and Annette Buse, we wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for your generosity. This law school and the future leaders that come out of here are going to be your leadership in terms of your philanthropic help is directly related to you, and I very, very much appreciate that. And of course, our former leadership of the city, including my predecessor, Phil Gordon, who helped get this downtown project going. I was lucky enough to serve on the city council and serve as the chair of the key subcommittee to get this project going. Downtown will never be the same. We had a great downtown before. It has become an even greater because of the students, faculty, the team that is coming down here to downtown Phoenix. And we are going nowhere but up in terms of this partnership. We know the value of having ASU's premier academic programs in the heart of our city. That's why, even during the worst of the economic times, just a couple years ago, in the worst of the economic times, we had a challenge to budget ourselves, and we had to make choices about our priorities in terms of spending public dollars. What is the right priorities for the city? Even in the worst of economic times, our city council decided to make this investment of $12 million direct investment to get this project done. No other city has invested so heavily in a university the way Phoenix has, and that is a great investment in the future of this community. Because of that investment, the work of so many neighborhood leaders, downtown leaders, the community support for building the light rail system, our urban core is becoming one of the great downtown revitalization stories in the entire country. From 2005 to 2013, while sales tax revenue was flat around the city, in this area where we are sitting and standing right now, we more than doubled our sales tax revenue. There have been more than 24 million square feet of development within the city's infill area just since 2009. There will be 7 large construction cranes dotting the skyline next year working on this project, other ASU projects, and other private sector projects in the heart of our city. And it's because of the public investment, not only in the light rail, convention center, downtown hotels, and of course, nothing more important than our partnership with ASU, that just in a few months, we'll be hosting the largest party in our state's history at Super Bowl Central right around this campus, and we couldn't do it without ASU's partnership. ASU has been a tremendous part of downtown Phoenix's growth. 11,000 downtown students, 1,200 who live right on campus, and I know more is coming. Investments in campus construction and renovation will rise to more than $500 million by the year 2016. But our partnership is more than just about bringing people downtown. It's about building the kind of community that we all want to live in. The College of Nursing and Health Innovation, they run 2 clinics for local residents. Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication trains students to ask tough questions and challenge the status quo. I've been on the receiving end on some of those tough questions, so I know how tough those journalism students can be. The College of Public Programs instills the importance of service to others and operates a center that helps local nonprofits. The Herberger Institute of Design and Arts is bringing new life to the Warehouse District and culture to the entire city. ASU Downtown is not just about the built environment, although the built environment is important. It's about being embedded in this community with everyone in this community, and you are achieving that goal. And having these leaders that are going to be studying in this law school, along with the brain power of the faculty, is going to be further embedded in this community. I know that this Center for Law and Society will have the exact kind of transformational effect. Thank you everyone for your support, for being an important part of this milestone in our city's history. Go Devils, let's continue our partnership. A great day for Phoenix.
Thank you, Mayor Stanton. One of the points that was just made is that when we move downtown, we'll be bringing 1,000 people here downtown every single year, and then getting people more engaged in the legal community and business communities through the Arizona Center for Law and Society. So that is one great aspect of it, but the mayor also touched on something that is near and dear to our next speaker's heart, and that would be the community engagement. It takes leadership not just to build buildings and to move things economically forward. It takes tremendous leadership, especially since we know you can't get anything done with a mayor. It's the city council who gets it all done, to really focus on things like community development and engagement. And for those who aren't aware, the College of Law every single year donates over 100,000 hours of free legal services to the community. Thank you. And that number is clearly going to expand dramatically when we move downtown. And so not only is the impact economic and intellectual, it is also going to be in service to this community, and that's another tremendous reason we think to bring this downtown, and reflects perfectly our next speaker, Councilman Michael Nowakowski's vision about what a council should do and what government should do here downtown. Michael Nowakowski has a couple of connections. One of the things I want to point out here on stage today, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, he's the only graduate of Arizona State University, and so glad to have you, Michael. His son has come to his senses and moved south and north and is now at Arizona State University, and his brother-in-law is one of our beloved alums, Danny Ortega. And so, Michael, come on up, Councilman, and thank you for all your help.
Well, first of all, bienvenidos, welcome to downtown Phoenix and District 7. You know, when I had my first experience with Dr. Crow, I was a freshman council member, and he came to my office and he said, you know, there's a great park across the street, a civic space that, you know, our students can use for lunch and gathering, and how about if we work together to see how ASU can actually create a partnership with the city of Phoenix and engage in the civic space? And at first I said, I'm not sure how the community is going to take this. But what happened was Michael Crow, Dr. Crow had a team. And that team reached out to the businesses, to the community. And they started to work together and have a conversation. And now we have a civic space that students and community can gather together and talk and work. We have seniors that live in the Westward Ho that come and they engage with our young people. Incredible. And next door to that is a historic landmark, our historic post office, where we came together and we created a student union, where student organizations come together and we were able to preserve a historic landmark in downtown Phoenix and create a student union for those ASU students. And then next was our great Devil Fitness Center, working together with the YMCA and creating this fitness center for the students and also for those members of the YMCA that can benefit from all the new equipment and technology. I really want to thank you, Dr. Crow, for sitting together and bringing that team, which I call the Team Phoenix approach, and bringing community, business leaders, and the school together. And now we have the law school. It's not just a law school. It's a community center. It's a place where bright minds come together to create great ideas. It's only a couple blocks away from our court system, where these interns from the law school can go to the city courts, to the federal courts, to the county courts, and do their internships there, where we have these great law firms in downtown Phoenix that can benefit from these interns. I know that I am benefiting right now from 2 interns from the College of Public Programming, Antoine and Stephanie, that are here in the audience. The only problem with the internship program, Dr. Crow, is that the semesters go too quick, and these bright minds leave too quick our offices. I just want to thank ASU. I want to thank all the leadership under Dr. Crow for bringing community together, for making sure that the community is heard, and that it's not just a university, it's really a community center for all. Thank you so much, and God bless.
So as we've identified these various constituencies, from the university to the mayor's office to the council, all of these groups were so necessary in order to bring the project forward. But there's another constituency that needed leadership to really help us move forward, and they've been recognized a couple of times already. It is that legal community, that business community that needs to rally around Arizona State University, needs to recognize that investments in education and investments in this university greatly benefit the city, greatly benefit the state, and are really an essential component of what it means to be part of a great city, which Phoenix, Arizona clearly is. And so at this point, I do want to recognize and bring forward Leo and Annette Buse for their philanthropy. A year ago, we asked Leo and his partner, Paul, to lead our fundraising efforts. I think we gave you a business card, Leo. It said Chief Fundraiser. It was a very clever title. And from that day forward, Leo has led the efforts in philanthropy, not just through connections, not just through conversations, but through their own personal giving. So Leo and Annette, again, we have another Michigan law grad, so we have to work on this. We'll talk about that in a second, but thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you both. Come on up and say a few words. Thank you, Annette. Thank you so much. Leo. Thank you.
It was longer than a year ago, and I drove to work in my little white Prius, and I had a phone call from Mike Crow's office saying, could Mike Crow and Doug Sylvester meet with you and Paul? They show up with a box of calling cards. They're not engraved. And it had Chief Fundraiser. And I knew what that meant. So we thought, well, we'd done some fundraising for the university before, and for ASU, we had helped do a endowed chair for Bud Jones. And we found it more difficult than we thought. That was many, many years ago. But what's happened in those years in this community is simply amazing. With the leadership of President Crow and the naming of the law school after the real First Lady of the United States of America, Sandra Day O'Connor, and after seeing what's happened here, you come to believe and really understand, having no other affiliation with ASU other than we've gone to all their football games for since 1970. And Ray Anderson showed up at our office one day and gave a nice little talk and promised us a national championship within 3 years. So it got us enthused. And we have been very, very grateful for the opportunity to help serve this university, help serve what will become one of the really, really, really elite law schools in this country. This is a great community. We have great, great lawyers in this town. We have a great judiciary. And most of all, we have a great community here. And we have such incredible leadership from the mayor to the city council to the dean, and especially Dr. Crow. We are so fortunate as a community to have that kind of leadership. It's not cheap. We're not finished. If you heard the numbers, we're at 32 million. We're still about $20 million short. So would you drop your card off on your way out, give it to me, and you will get a call. Jerry Hirsch will help me, and others will help me. But we really feel fortunate to have this opportunity. And thank you all very, very much for all the help you've given us.
Thank you, Leo and Annette. So I've truly saved the best for last, and I'm really going to introduce now my real boss and the boss of all of us, and that is Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, who's going to come up and speak in just a moment. When we talk about leadership, you can think about how each of these individuals who we've already had on stage are transforming the areas in which they're engaged through their own individual efforts in leadership. Michael Crow is changing the nature of education and what a university means in this country. We have Mayor Stanton, who is changing the nature of the city of Phoenix and how important and impressive a place this can be. We have Councilman Nowakowski, who reminds us every day how important it is for government to be engaged with this community. And we have Leo and Annette, who tell us that our community matters and giving back is essential to what we have. But what we have in Justice Sandra Day O'Connor is a true inspiration for the law school, our law students, this state. She's literally changing history every day. And so with that, Sandra Day O'Connor, please come on up, and it is my pleasure to introduce you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a special day, isn't it? I remember when I was in law school how I learned that everything that was important came out of the law school and the legal community. That was my first understanding, and I think after all these years, I still agree. The good things that happen seem to come out of the legal community. And I think what has been done here is fabulous. And Phoenix is a big city now. It's not just a little community on the side of the river. It is a very, very significant part of our lives in Arizona. And I am thrilled about the new home for the law school and the opportunity it gives for the law school to continue and even expand its role as a leader. And since its founding in 1967, that's not too long ago, really, the law school has committed itself to serving the public. And it's established clinics to help individuals in their own problems and cases. It's closer to the courts that are here in the Phoenix legal community. And I just think it's in a very exciting place. And the new building that's going up here is more than just law school classrooms. It's going to be open to the public. It's going to have many spaces in it for community events and gatherings. And it's just one of the great honors of my life that this law school bears my name. I think in just half a century, the law school has established itself as one of the preeminent legal institutions in the United States. And that movement is not going backwards, it's going forwards. And it's going to be more of an inspiration to all of us as we go forward. So congratulations, and I'm here to help, and I hope you are too.
Thank you so much, Justice O'Connor. It's been such an inspiration to be part of a law school named after the justice. It inspires our students, it inspires the faculty, it inspires our staff to try and achieve just even a modicum of the level of public engagement and transformation that Justice O'Connor has brought to us. And so I promise, Justice O'Connor, we're not going to go backwards. We'll keep moving forward. We're going to get you into those kinds of numbers that Ray Anderson can call for national championships. We're going to try and beat that at the law school. We'll see what we can do there.